A tattoo is the end of neutrality. A tattoo is not decoration. It's not an accessory. It's not a trend. A tattoo is a statement, a decision, a wall that doesn't crumble. A tattoo is the end of neutrality. From the moment you carve a symbol into your own body, you've made it clear to the world you chose a side. You chose to be someone with history, with position, with memory. You chose to stop hiding behind the mask of those who prefer to be nobody just to avoid confrontation. You chose to exist with weight, not float without direction. In a world terrified of permanence, you chose the opposite. You decided to mark your body as if you were burning a flag into your skin. Not a national flag, your own. The flag of your history, of your scars, of your principles. You made your body a territory that doesn't negotiate with forgetfulness. While others erase their past, rewrite their stories, pretend they never made mistakes, you went and marked yourself. You turned your own skin into a document, and you signed it in ink and blood. That makes people uncomfortable, because people are used to appearances that change according to convenience. They're used to smiling at the boss and lying to themselves. In the mirror, they're used to pretending, molding, bending, but a tattoo doesn't bend. A tattoo doesn't change depending on who's watching. A tattoo doesn't ask for permission. It simply is. And that kind of posture, raw, definite, unapologetic, provokes fear in the ones who've never dared to commit to anything. Because in a world made of maybes, those who say this is what I am are seen as dangerous. You became dangerous the moment you stopped being neutral. The moment you decided that your history deserved space, that your pain deserved to be remembered, that your battles would not be hidden under a fake smile. The moment you understood that who you are is not up for negotiation, that silence is not always strength, that some things must be said with your body, that words vanish but ink stays. A tattoo shouts what your mouth won't, and it shouts all the time. In line at the bank, in the elevator, on the street. It shouts even when you're quiet, and that unsettles people, because they see in you a reminder that they too made choices, but chose to erase them. That they too had pain, but chose to hide it. That they too could have created something real, but decided to pretend. You didn't. You went through it. You faced it. And then you marked it. Like a warrior who engraves a symbol on the shield after every battle survived. You tattooed your own shield, and it became your skin. That's why you walk differently, you sit differently, you look differently. Because everything in you says, I've already chosen who I am. That's rare. In a time where people constantly change their opinions to gain followers, where they betray their values to receive applause, keeping your position is a declaration of war. And your tattoo is that declaration. It's the sword stuck in the ground that says, from here I won't move. And no, it's not about the design. It's not about whether it's blackwork or color, realistic or abstract, religious or profane. It's not about aesthetic. It's about courage. Because no design has value if it wasn't made with truth. And no truth is light. All truth costs something. A tattoo is the price you pay to carry your story, even when others want you to forget it. Your skin became memory, and that memory speaks. It reminds you where you fell, where you got up, where you swore you'd never return. It reminds you who you buried, what you survived, what you once believed in, and what still burns in your chest. Even when everything else changes, the tattoo is still there, in the same place, with the same weight, with the same force, like a lighthouse that says, remember who you are. That's why not everyone can bear the weight of a tattoo. Some don't understand why someone would do that to themselves. They ask, but what if you regret it? As if regret is worse than forgetting. As if the risk of marking something imperfect is more terrifying than the void of not marking anything at all. But you understand. You know that what you mark becomes real. What you mark becomes yours. What you mark becomes part of your armor. You're not trying to please anyone. You didn't tattoo yourself to be liked. You didn't sit in that chair thinking about society's opinion. You were thinking about everything you had to endure to become who you are. You were thinking about everything you can't say in words, about everything that still aches, but now bleeds less because it's outside, not locked inside your chest. And when someone looks at your tattoo and says, "I wouldn't do that," you nod, because you already knew they wouldn't. That's not for them. That's not for the ones who tremble before permanence, who shiver before history, who kneel before judgment. Your tattoo isn't for the crowd, it's for the mirror. And the mirror doesn't lie. The mirror shows that you made it, that you've fallen and gotten up more times than you can count, that you've buried versions of yourself that no longer served you, that you carry ghosts, but they don't carry you anymore. That's the strength of a tattoo. It turns what once hurt into something you chose, into something you made yours. It turns the wound into armor, and no, you don't need to explain. You don't need to justify your reasons to anyone. You don't owe your story to strangers, but you carry it. Visibly, authentically, unforgivingly. You carry it in a way that doesn't ask for permission, that doesn't wait for approval, that simply says, "This is me," and if that bothers you, the door is open. Because you're not here to be neutral. The world already has enough people who watch in silence, who agree out of fear, who omit themselves to be accepted. You chose to be the opposite, to exist with volume, to stand with posture, to walk marked, even if that costs you comfort. And yes, it costs. It costs job offers, relationships, invitations. But what you gain is greater: dignity, coherence, strength. The certainty that you don't owe your image to anyone, that you're not here to fit into any mold, that your truth is more important than your image, that your story matters more than the expectation of others. So keep walking, keep marking yourself, keep turning your body into a monument, because that's what you are: living proof that life leaves marks, that choices leave scars, that pain becomes power, that survival deserves celebration, and a tattoo is that celebration. A tattoo is not a cry for attention, it's a cry of existence, it's a shout of presence. It's the unshakable decision to never be invisible again. Not to yourself, not to the world, not to the history that brought you here. A tattoo is the end of neutrality, and that's the beginning of everything that matters.